One thing with success is once you get a taste of it, you don't want to lose that taste again. It's like you just received a booster dose of endorphins, and this endorphins gives you a natural high state, and you just want to remain in that bubble. And in today's video, we'll be diving into the habits that you can incorporate into your day-to-day activity to help bring you closer to success, especially as a student who is probably struggling in their academics. But before we get into the video, hi bandmates, and to my new viewers, hi guys, I'm Abby, a final year med student currently based in Nigeria, and on this channel I help students and the next generation of doctors make their journey towards achieving their goals as easy and enjoyable as possible. And if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, do stick around by subscribing. Now that we're done with the formalities, let's jump straight into the video. First step you must take in order to help you out as a struggling student is to set the table right. And what do I mean by this? I need you to decide on what exactly are your current struggles and challenges. I need you to make a mental note on the different challenges that you're facing currently as a student, and how can you do this easily. You can do this by thinking on paper. You need to get a pen and a paper and write down the courses that you're currently finding very difficult, the subjects that you're finding challenging. I don't need you to overthink it. I just want you to just bring a pen and paper and just write it as it comes. No matter how small the challenge might be, no matter how big the challenge might be, as long as you feel like you're not comfortable with that subject, you're not comfortable with that course, write it down. And once you're done with this first step, you can now go to the next step. The next step after setting the table right is to create a hierarchy within the table. After the first step, which is setting your table right, noting your challenges, noting the courses or the subjects that you're actually having problems with, within this table you now have to come and arrange your table based on hierarchy. You have to note the most challenging and the least challenging course or subject within the subjects that you're having problems with. When you're having issues as a person, there are some issues that are always going to be higher than the other issues. So within the subjects and within the courses that you're having problems with, you need to set a hierarchy. You note the courses or the subjects that you know that your problem is literally time. If you give yourself a good 2 hours, you can actually understand that course or that subject. But there are some courses or some subjects that you know that you need a good 4 hours without distraction. You need external help. You need someone to explain it to you. Put that at the higher list of your hierarchy so that you'll be able to know the time allocation for each of the problems that you've already penned down in your first step. The next step after you've created a hierarchy is resist the urge to clear the small things first. As human beings, there's a tendency that after creating this hierarchy of problems, that you'll be tempted to start with challenges that are going to cause you the least amount of stress. You go to the bottom of your hierarchy and decide to start reading those courses at the bottom of the hierarchy. Resist the urge of starting from the least problems. Always try to clear the bulk of the problems first. Try to tackle the most challenging problems, the most challenging courses, most challenging subjects first. Imagine yourself going to the gym. You've been hitting the gym for the past 3 weeks, and you know if you're to attempt lifting this 50 kg, there's a high chance that you'll be able to lift it, but you might need assistance. But you know that after lifting that 50 kg, if you go back to the 20 kg you've been lifting for the past 2 weeks, that it will become a piece of cake for you because you've already surpassed that by challenging yourself to lifting 50 kg. You need to channel that into the hierarchy list. Imagine you clear the first challenging courses or the 3 challenging subjects on your list. The last 4 will not be a problem compared to how it was for you in the beginning when you were creating that list. By the time you give that energy and that mental strength to the first 3 challenges, by the time you come to the ones that will require a little less brain power, you'll be able to do it comfortably without having the temptation of giving up, compared to if you've given all your mental strength to the one that requires a little less brain power. And once you're done with those ones, now coming back to the challenges or the subjects that will now require a lot more brain power. In your mind, you'll be like, I've already expelled a lot of energy tackling these last challenges. Going back to these courses or these subjects now require me to bring out a lot more mental strength, and I'm already exhausted from these few hours I spent tackling the challenges that were at the bottom of my list. That's where the temptation to give up or to procrastinate will come in. The next step you should take is resist the urge of replaying bad fails and try replaying good fails. One of the things that make us as human beings fall into the rabbit hole of self-sabotage most of the time is our tendency to replay the bad experiences and the bad memories and forget most of the time that we've also had good memories. So try as much as possible when it comes to you as a struggling student. There have been so many times in the past throughout your journey as a student where you've actually performed well. Sometimes you might fall into a stage or a situation where you didn't do so well. There's a high chance that you may forget about other good performances you've been having so far and fall into a situation where you're replaying the bad scores or the bad results you've been having. Try as much as possible if you can make recordings of maybe when you passed an examination. You can have a journal where you write how happy you were. Maybe if you pass an examination, you can snap a picture, keep it as a memory, so that when you get into a phase where you didn't have a good academic performance, you can always go back to that picture, go back to that journal, to that video, and see how happy you were, to remind you that this is just a phase, you are not that bad. By the time you see how happy you were and the achievement you achieved in the past, it serves as an encouragement for you to actually push yourself through that phase of academic struggle that you may be facing at that point in time. Try to find ways to replay good feelings surrounding the situation, surrounding your struggles, especially as a student. There's always that association between good feelings and self encouragement. Is usually the bad feelings and the continuous remembrance of your failures that tends to act as a ripple effect and affect your other forthcoming scores, and then you see yourself struggling on a continuous basis. Find ways to document your wins. It will help you to try to find a way to actually feel that feeling you felt in the past, and you see yourself doing a lot better because you want to recreate that feeling of joy or happiness you felt in that past memory you just saw. So find ways to recreate positive feelings when you are feeling down to prevent the ripple effects that the negative feeling usually have on you as a student. The fifth step that you should take is allocating the appropriate time to the appropriate things. My favorite quote from one of my favorite books said, one of the very worst uses of time is to do something very well that need not to be done at all. There's a high chance that because you've created a hierarchy list, you might decide to give excessive time to the most challenging courses and give way too little time to the least challenging courses, or you might give too much time to the least challenging courses and leave the most challenging courses to the last minute. You have to be really smart with your time allocation, especially as students or especially as med students, where we have limited time given to us to actually study, because you go from classes and from classes you go to clinics. If you're a preclinical student, you go to practical, you come back, you're tired. You also have your extracurricular activities. By the time you're back, you have very limited time to study during the weekdays, and then sometimes you have the weekends that you have to do other things as well. So you have to be very wise with your time allocation. Give ample time to your challenging courses, but do not neglect the least challenging courses on your hierarchy list. And whilst allocating this time, allocate time also for you to find the external help that you be needing for your most challenging courses as well, because most of the time if you're creating a study timetable, there's a high chance that you might just put in your personal time there, but you wouldn't put in the time where be like, I need to see this lecturer, or I need to watch this video by this time. You need to put time stamps for each and every one of these things to make sure that not only your personal studies but your other external help is also attached to the time you're giving, and this will help to prevent you from doing so many things and still not achieving anything at all, because you can see yourself throughout the night you might be studying and you're there studying just one course and you still have like 17 courses to go, and by the time you go to the examinations, because you didn't study other courses and you didn't allocate your time properly, that particular one topic you're studying is not going to be the only topic that is going to help you to ace your examination. So appropriate time allocation according to the hierarchy list you've created will actually help you, and before you know it, you see yourself improving a lot because you're actually giving time to the appropriate things and not wasted time on inappropriate things. Most of the times these challenging courses, you need to read and look at them over and over again, and you may not have the time for that if your time is not being split appropriately. So one of the most important steps you have to take as a struggling student is to make sure that you allocate time to the appropriate things and try to limit the time you spend on inappropriate things. And a course can be inappropriate if that course you're supposed to spend the least 2 hours on, you're spending 3 hours, 4 hours on it, and then you neglect other courses that you also have to give time. If you've gotten to this point of the video, it's obvious to be enjoying this video so far. So why haven't you liked? Please go ahead and like this video because it helps YouTube to push my video to more students and like-minded people like you to see. Don't forget to share this video, subscribe and turn on your post notification bell, because in my next video I'll be sharing with you guys the 7 sins of medical school, the 7 things you must avoid in order to have a good experience as a student, especially in medical school. Go ahead and check out this video right here where I spoke about the things that I wish I knew sooner as a medical student before getting into medical school. And I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Until then, stay happy and stay blessed. Bye.